Hello, it's Simone. I am so glad you are joining me today for an exclusive Journal with Me video um, from the person who just recently said that she wouldn't share Journal with Me videos anymore because they were just not working for her. What I notice about my own journaling is that it's kind of not static. It always changes. And I've recently been finding myself back in that spot where I journal the whole spread in one sitting on a Saturday or a Sunday, which I know is kind of dangerous because that means that if I don't have time on that specific day or on either of those days, then none of my journal entries are in my journal for that specific week. So I'm really glad you are here for this Ko-fi video. I am not necessarily going to talk along this process. I just wanted to share this footage with you and hoped you enjoyed. But what I actually want to talk about is more about how my January went creatively. Which brings me back to the journal entry. This is one creative thing I did in January. I had this in mind to put basically a Techo Kaigi into my journal to just document in this journal what I am going to start out with in 2023. And the idea would be to do the same thing at the end of the year and then see what was left. And not just that, also maybe reflect on how it worked and how it didn't work. I'm not sure I would be able to put that on a double page spread like this. The thought came to me quite maybe at the end of November, and I originally wanted to draw those journals, but that never really happened. I'm still very much so struggling with my idea of what it is supposed to look like and the fear of that when I actually sit down to do it, that I'm going to be disappointed by my results. And I have to work through that soon, no rather than later. But when I noticed that I'm not working on this spread as I had originally intended, I decided to not sit down and work on this, but to just go the easy route and print photos of the journals instead of drawing those, and then write a little bit about each journal combination or what it is used for and what cover it is currently in. All that jazz. And that brings me now finally to the January Making Plans review. The first thing that I noticed in January that I felt what I felt like I didn't really finish 2022. There were so many things that I still wanted to do that I didn't get to, and I felt not ready to start into 2023 creatively. Like I felt like I need to finish all the things that I still wanted to do. But I also quickly came to realize that there's so many things that I wanted to do in 2022 that I didn't do, that it's probably going to fill another year or at least a quarter instead of like maybe just January where I finish up things. Which if I am taking January as not going to start through with my creative ideas for 2023, then I have a late start to 2023. But I really wanted to finish the alphabet stamps and add a set of numbers, which I totally finished the alphabet stamps and they turned out amazingly. I shared them on Ko-fi in a post and I maybe I'll link that in the description box below. The idea was to then also make a set of numbers. And I haven't gotten to that yet, even though I really enjoyed the meditative aspect of stamp carving. It is so calming and relaxing. It's really nice. But I felt not compelled to do that. I felt not compelled to do many things in January, and so instead of feeling guilty about what I wasn't doing, I decided to just let myself be led by the craving that I had in the moment. So I usually am off work on Thursdays. And that's the day that I decided this is my creative day. As you know, I am currently very much obsessed with the fountain pens and the inks. And even though it's not creative in the sense that I am creating something from scratch by myself, it is still something that fills my cup very much, and that I love playing with colors, and that's something that I need to remember in this whole artistic process, and finding myself, finding my creative voice, is that even though it's not made by myself, if it fills my cup, if I play with these colors and I just relax and feel so good at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if it's something that I make from scratch. And so I spent a lot of time with fountain pen inks, swatching all of those that I had collected throughout the past maybe 6 to 8 months, that were also leaning very heavily on me, and knowing that I hadn't even swatched them. They were happy mail from friends, and I didn't acknowledge them even by swatching them, weighed heavily on me. And so I decided whatever it is that helps me start making things needs to be out of the way first. So I swatched those inks, and it was a lot of fun. I wrote quite some letters, so I sent out some ink samples. I think I sent 6 or 8 letters, which is a lot compared to previous months, and I hope to keep that at this number, so that I can finally catch up and be more on time with my replies to Happy Mail letters. And yes, that is something that I enjoy. I love writing with my fountain pens. I love using all of the letter sets that I have. I love putting together some Happy Mail items that I want to include. Even though I'm so creative and artistic, something that doesn't come really easily to me, or that I don't find much joy in, is creating these artistic casings for Happy Mail letters. There's this whole art community of pen paling friends that make these elaborate Happy Mail letter out of beautiful papers. That's totally not me, and that's okay too. If you get a letter from me, it's most of the time it's just written words, and yeah, that's my kind of being a fountain pen, a pen pal. And then, guess what? I didn't have a photo of this planner, so I drew it into this journal, and I noticed or realized that I shouldn't have been so afraid of doing this, because it's much easier than I thought it was. So next time, I definitely want to draw these. And why does it have to be so perfect all the time? Why can I not just accept that just trying is better than not doing it at all? I tell that to everyone, and I'm so persuasive and so adamant about the trying, and it doesn't really matter if you fail or not, but I cannot listen to my own advice. There we go. So that's where we're at. I am definitely ditching all the things that I didn't get to in January, because I feel that if I haven't done those yet, then maybe I like the idea of doing it more than actually doing it. I'm not going to toss out the ideas and say I'm never ever going to revisit them, but I will just let them be there for a while without tackling them. I am going to find new things that I want to do in February, and it's actually, I am going away the first week. And so there's also this, I'm doing things in January and then I'm going away and then I have to find back into the swing of things. February is always kind of the hardest month after the winter, because it gives to me at least, January, often the last few days of January are sunny and beautiful, and it's like, oh yes, it's going to be spring. We're all going to be so happy because it's going to be warm and sunny. And then February comes with a full week of vacation for my children, with very gray and very cold days again. And it's like, Pa, did you think it's going to get better? No, it's going to get worse first before it's going to get better. That's how February always feels to me. And just acknowledging that and not expecting too much from myself is probably the best approach. So what I have thought is to watch a lot of YouTube videos from friends. I hope you are all enjoying those videos that I share. I would love to know if that is something that I should keep doing. It's not too hard of a work to do, but it still takes time. So if that is not something that you appreciate at all, I can totally stop it. But I feel like that's something that I can give that would enrich your creative life as well. So again, going back to my February plans is really simple. I would love to start one of the Domestika courses that I purchased during Black Friday that I wanted to start in January and it didn't. And I am going to slowly unravel all the knitting works in progress that I have in my stash. There is multiples. I am not feeling drawn to get back into figuring out where I was. The colors don't appeal to me anymore. Some of them are way too elaborate for my own knitting style. I have learned that I am someone who starts enthusiastically and then gets sidetracked and maybe revisits the project 1 or 2 months later. And it needs to be simple enough so that I can be able to do that without having to work myself through each and every row of the knitting project. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So it's going to be very slow. It's going to be very slow, very cozy on the couch. And I'm going to hopefully share the project that I would love to work on starting sooner rather than later. But my main goal is to recover all the hidden gems that I have in the shawls and projects that I was going to work on. So I'm done with the spread. I really like how it turned out. I love that I have this in front of my journal to revisit this at some other point at the end of 2023. I am curious to how your January went. How are you? This is a legit question. The world is such a hard place to live in, and I know that we find places where we can recharge. And that's definitely recharging for me. I hope you find places too. It doesn't have to be journaling. It can be so many different things, but I hope you think of those and you remember to do things for yourself. I am so glad that you are here with me, and I hope to see you soon. Until next time. Oh, please let me know if this format of video works better for you than the other one. I just want to share this video with you, and I don't really mind doing face to face or sharing a journal with me video. I have another one for February, and I'm really excited to share that with you. But of utmost importance is what you enjoy most. Thank you so much. Until then, bye.